Hello and welcome back to WGNR War Games News Radio. My name's Ryan, I'm your host, and today we're going to be playing through the Undiscovered Vault scenario for Fallout Wasteland Warfare by Modiphius. Now, this is the newest incarnation of Fallout Friday, as in years past, Modiphius has had some folks from the company doing some live streams. I'll throw a link up to those here to that channel if you want to check out some of those past battle reports. Really fun stuff, really cool scenarios, most of which are available on the Modiphius website. But these are going to be a little bit different, as it's Modiphius trying to get the community involved to posting some stuff online about these scenarios, whether it be work in progresses of terrain pieces or models that they're painting up, or just getting boards put together to get excited about the game. And that's what I've done for this scenario, is I've gone ahead and spent an obscene amount of time putting together some custom terrain for a Vault 111 themed board. Now, why Vault 111, you say? There's so many good vaults out there. Well, I wanted to keep this in the Fallout 4 sort of theme and universe, and I'm hoping that this might be a bit of a launching pad for some more thematic scenarios. So, depending on what Modiphius releases next month, the month of November, for Fallout Friday, maybe we'll continue the story with our band of survivors here, or maybe even some super mutants, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Why don't we focus on talking about this month's scenario, the Undiscovered Vault? So for this scenario, I've decided to take a bit of a thematic approach to it. Imagine, if you will, Fallout 4 has just wrapped up. The Institute has been destroyed, maybe the Brotherhood and the Minutemen and the Railroad along with them, but your sole survivor has just finished the main campaign in Fallout 4 and is making the long journey home to Sanctuary Hills when they get a call from a familiar friend on their Pip-Boy radio saying something might not be right over at Vault 111. Let's go check it out.
Nate, it's Preston. You've got to get over to Vault 111. I've just got word that some mutants are trying to break in.
Vault 111? It's been a long time. Whatever they want down there, it can't be good. There's no place like home. Come on, boy. Let's go.
Hey, boss. That human we captured said we could find some good stuff down in this big elevator place. I don't know how we get down there, unless we smash. Well then, smash.
And here it is, the Vault 111 themed board. You can see here we've got the vault entrance elevator, we've got the Porta-Shack control building, we've got the Vault Secure billboard, we've got a mocked up forklift or front end loader there, and we've got some custom made computer terminal markers, as well as some custom-made fences and power pole markers, which we're going to be using as the super mutant objective marker. So the survivor's objective will be to activate any 3 of the 4 terminals scattered across the board. There's one inside the Porta-Shack there. Super mutants, on the other hand, know that the survivors are up to something, and they know that they can shut down the hacking sequence by finding the circuit breaker. Now, one of these power pole objective markers has the number 1 on the back of it. That's going to be the circuit breaker. So whenever a super mutant comes into awareness of one of these markers, they'll be able to flip it over. Once they locate the circuit breaker, they have 2 options. Either they can destroy it outright, but it's got some pretty tough stats, or alternatively, they can use the key. Now, the key will be located along with one of these item crates, and the super mutants will have to make a modified armor roll to see if they find the key along with an item. Every time they pick up an item, they have a better chance of tracking down that key. So they'll make an armor roll for every item they find, and if they roll equal or less to the number of items they've already found, they'll find the key along with the item. It's going to make their lives a lot easier towards winning the game, whereas the survivors are going to have to do their best to make sure that none of that happens. My forces stock to the force builds on the scenario, but I'm using some slightly different models that I rarely get to use in this game. Number one being the XO1 Soul Survivor Tech model, and the other being the armored Dogmeat model. I just never get a chance to run these. So I'm going to be using the Soul Survivor in a T60 power armor, even though it looks like an XO1. The Soul Survivor is equipped with a hunting rifle and a baseball bat. Then we've got the armored Dogmeat model using the standard Dogmeat card with its ever-loving dog bite. And we've got the two Survivor or Scaver models from the two-player starter set, which will be playing as my settlers, which will each have an assault rifle. So pretty standard there, but with a 6 perception, they actually have a pretty darn good chance to hit whatever they aim at.
And on to the mutants!
Here we go. You can see, again, using some models I never get to use, really. I'm using the Hammer model as my brute. It's equipped with a laser rifle and a sledgehammer. Some standard mutants that we'll be using here with a bolt-action pipe rifle and a board. And then we've got the mutant hound. And again, equipped with that hound bite, which is going to do some pretty nasty damage to these survivors if it gets within, or when it gets within melee range. We've got our forces here deployed within yellow. I just tried to equally space out the super mutants and gave the hound here a little bit of room to run. So here on our survivors side, we've got the two settlers, which are going to try to stave off any flanking maneuvers by the mutants. And then we've got the Soul Survivor and Dogmeat. We're going to try to get into the battle as quick as possible and try to control some of those terminals. So let's get into turn one. Now the super mutants have the lower of the cap costs of these forces, so we're going to give them advantage. So let's roll and see which of the models gets to activate first. Lucky super mutant number 1 is our first activation, and his AI move is to go for the objective. So he's actually going to move to try to find one of these keys. His first move moves into base-to-base contact and flips a search icon. Standard super mutants search on a perception of 4, looking for 4s or less. Hey, that's going to do it with a 4. Oh, that's going to suck. Missile launcher. The super mutant picks up a missile launcher. That's going to be real fun in the upcoming turns, but let's roll to see if he's also found the key. So if this super mutant rolls a 1, the super mutants have found the key on the very first turn. Oh, lucky for us. Time to keep looking. Now for our survivors, I'm going to activate everyone's favorite Soul Survivor first, but being that I'm within range of these markers, yep, very much so in range, I'm going to take a peek and see if I can find where the circuit breaker is. Nothing there. Ooh, there it is. Circuit breaker numero uno, hanging out right by the porta shack. Good to know. First activation, we're just going to move yellow up to this gate here, and then going to take another difficult terrain move to jump over the fence there. So next move, the survivor is going to try to activate that computer. The mutant hound, which has one hell of a charge, but being that the hound is within awareness range of the first marker, we're going to take a look. Ooh, so that's another item. That could have the key for it. What are you going to do? Dog, or bad dog, I guess. The hound's activation is to attack nearest target. So it's going to make a red move to there, and then a second red move up to there. First move will be to get into cover here with that box, just for the fun of it. Oh, that could be a free item. Or do we take the pot shot? You know what? God hates a coward. Let's take a shot. So the assault rifle has a range of red and green. That hound's going to be within green range, and our settler's going to be shooting through one fence, so it's going to be a -2 to hit. So normally hitting on 6s, now hitting on 4s. Hey, that's a hit. 2 damage versus the Super Mutant Hound's 1 physical armor. Stops 1. So 1 damage stopped, 1 damage gained for our Super Mutant. Nice shot, buddy. Not bad at all. Next up is the Brute. The Brute's AI activation was to get into position for an attack. So it's just going to move yellow carefully. Try to stay out of sight of the sole survivor there. And it's just going to move, take up cover next to the bulldozer. So next up, this survivor is going to make a play for the first computer. So let's go ahead and reveal the interior of our lovely Porta Shack. With 2 yellow movements, she was just able to get inside the building to get ready to activate that computer next round. And maybe even take some shots out the window as well. Super Mutant the Deuce. This Super Mutant 2's activation was to go for the objective, so I'm going to call that, despite we've got a item there and an item there, I'm going to say that he decided to go for the item over Shmia. So 2 moves is going to get him in position, so let's take a look at what that might be, see if he's going to be able to activate it this round or have to wait till next. So by getting into base-to-base contact with that investigation marker, our Super Mutant can take a peek and see what type of searchable icon it is, and we've got, oh, goody, a free item. I keep saying it's not easy being green, but these Super Mutants are proving me wrong. And they drew some bourbon. Not bad. Well, there we go. After 1 round of activations, the Super Mutants now have a missile launcher and something to drink. But let's see if they get that key as well. Because they found 2 items, this time it's going to be a 2 or a 1 is going to get them that key. Goody! Super Mutants have the key. This is going swimmingly so far. Swimmingly. Currently, they don't know which one of these other 3 has the circuit breaker in it. I mean, technically, the mutant could take a peek, but we'll just save that for next activation. Let's get into business. Dogmeat's going to go ahead and make some serious plays down the field. First, making a red move, because that's just how far you can move. And then a difficult terrain move of yellow to try to cross further onto the board. We'll just say that he gets about there. Not shabby. So that's it for turn 1. So far, just 1 mutant taking 1 point of damage. Survivor's getting ready to activate some computers, and the mutants have the key at the end of turn 1. Bully for them. Start of round 2, so let's flip our first event. Unbearable Heat. Each player picks 1 of their own models simultaneously this round. This model will only get 1 action, not 2. This does not affect quick actions. Fun. I'll say that this settler and this mutant only get 1 activation this round. I'm going to switch over to the survivors, so I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't get lucky and activate this first terminal. Survivors have an intelligence of 4, looking for 4 or less. Hey, critical point off the bat. That is one of 3 terminals activated. Maybe we can settle the score on this after all. Activated. Our settler's going to try to position themselves up against this window. We'll count that as a move. And we'll say that it's a -2 to hit, just like shooting through a fence if it wants to shoot anything outside of these windows. Man, just getting lucky on those AI activations. And as is Mutant Hound status, it's going to make a play for its nearest enemy, that survivor, who's about to have a pretty bad day. Just enough with a charge of blue to get into base-to-base contact with this settler. And that hound's going to take a big old bite out of crime here. So, bunch of dice on this attack. Regular attack for Mutant Hound is blue, yellow, and black. We're going to add that black dice for the charge, hitting on 6s. Oh my goodness, that's a hit with an armor break and a quick action, plus an extra damage. Jeez Louise. Settlers only have 1 armor, and that armor break from the dog is going to make all 3 of these hits go right through. Yowza. Bringing our settler down to 1 health right off the bat. The Mutant Hound is going to prepare. Okay, well, we're going to make some plays here to try to give our Soul Survivor some space. Oh, I almost forgot. Soul Survivor gets a +1 armor token. Try to give our Soul Survivor some room to breathe. So Dogmeat's going to go ahead and make a big old blue charge. Yep. And we'll say it goes around the broken fence, gets into contact with our lovely mutant there, and it's going to try to take a bite. Black, yellow, green, and blue for the dice, and we're adding in a black die for the charge. Oops, black die went wide. Ooh, so that was a nasty roll. Dogmeat hit for 3 damage and is crippled an arm on the super mutant brute. Ouch. Brute looking to stop 3 damage with 2 armor. Ooh, all of it's going to slip right through. 3 damage on the brute. Is also going to get one of these lovely -2 tokens, on top of losing damn near half its health. Good boy. Not to be outdone, the brute activates next randomly in the AI order and will attack Dogmeat in close combat. So, hitting on 8s, 2 yellow die for the sledgehammer, 1 black for having a strength higher than 7, in this case 8, so 8 or lower. That's going to be a hit for nothing special, just a hit for 2 damage. Armor of 2, trying to stop 2 damage. Stop 1, take 1. Here we go, bit of a melee happening here. Looks like the brute took the worst of that exchange. Survivor, we're going to make an easy yellow move into base-to-base contact with the terminal there, and then we're going to see if we can't activate this second one. That would go a long way. Intelligence of 5, looking for a 5 or lower on the skill dice. Ah, no dice. 7. Close, but no cigar. The key gets the next activation randomly, and also gets the objective activation, so it's going to take a move this way. It's now within green of this marker. Can flip that to find diddly squat. Not so bad. These survivors are not having good luck today. This mutant once again got the objective AI activation. So sadly, it's going to take a yellow move up the field, which it is then within green awareness of this objective marker, which we now know from our first turn actually houses the circuit breaker. Someone needs to kill this mutant. Looking at you, bud. Well, as much as I would like to be able to have this settler take a pot shot at that mutant through the fence, unfortunately, it is currently tied up by this lovely hound, which currently has a prepare activation. With no actual melee weapon, we're going to take a shot at this hound using the assault rifle in close combat. So normally hitting on 6s, going to hit on 4s. Looking for a 4 or better to hopefully put this hound down. Oh, that's almost as bad as it could get. Let's see how bad it gets after this. Now, this is a quick attack, so this hound is actually going to be hitting on 4s. Hitting on 4s with a yellow, a black, and a blue dice. Oh! Oh, thank the master. No hits. That could have been bad. That could have been bad. Last mutant up. This is the one also equipped with a missile launcher. That's super fun. Got the objective AI activation of objective, so it's going to take a play. In this case, we're going to make the objective to attack. It's going to charge into dog meat. And that's turn 2. We've got a pretty nasty melee going down here. We've got the sole survivor still trying to activate this second terminal. We've got a nearly dead survivor hanging on for dear life. And we've got this survivor ready to try to take some pot shots at the mutant with the key, who's one activation away from victory. Folks, let's find out which of these mutants is going to activate first. This just couldn't have gone any worse. On my roll for which mutant was going to activate, I got number 4, which is our mutant with the key. And for 2 AI activations in a row, got the objective, which means this is a quick and dirty one, folks. Unfortunately for us, the super mutant with the key takes one move towards the circuit breaker and its second move to get within base-to-base contact of said circuit breaker. With the key, any unit that holds it can open and activate the circuit breaker free of charge. So unfortunately for us, that's going to be a super mutant victory in the battle for the Undiscovered Vault. What was all that armor for? What was it for? Shame.
Big elevator go down. Mutants find good snacky snacks or good boomy booms.
If those mutants got into the vault, who knows what they might find. We've got to get down there. We've got to stop them. Well, I hope you enjoyed that very first ever battle report from WGNR. I know I had a lot of fun despite getting my butt whipped by the mutants. The AI mode in this game, super fun. You just never know what's gonna happen. Thought I was gonna have a better shot there, but I guess I learned my lesson going for the objectives. Just go for the kill. Put some shots down range, get yourself some kills on those mutants. But unfortunately, didn't get the win. I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of that group of super mutants. Stay tuned to the channel for more bat reps, terrain builds, and reviews on different factions and different strategies in the game. We're just getting started here, folks. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you guys next time on WGNR War Games News Radio.